love, the brotherhood, the bond, it's all been shattered. One Direction's heartfelt tributes to Liam Payne in the last few days has left fans broken. They've lost a brother, a part of them, and now chilling details about Liam's final moments are coming to light, including disturbing footage of his room, which was in complete disarray, just as the distress call suggested. But here's where things take a turn. Just 2 days before this tragedy, Liam's ex-girlfriend slapped him with a lawsuit. Now, we are not saying that this lawsuit had anything to do with Liam's demise, but once you get the details, then you'll understand how it would have contributed to his mental state, which wasn't in the best state to begin with. And if we look back at Liam's recent videos, it's painfully clear the signs were there all along. He was crying out for help. There is a lot to unpack here, guys, so without any further ado, let's get right into it. Tributes are pouring in from all over the world to the fallen star Liam. On top of the list being his former bandmates saying they are completely devastated about the passing of one of their own. In a statement signed by Louis Tomlinson, Zayn Malik, Niall Horan, and Harry Styles, they said, "In time and when everyone is able to, there will be more to say." This news has hit them hard as no words can express such a loss for that reason. The boy band has asked for privacy as they take time to mourn their brother. Nonetheless, they have all individually eulogized Liam in the most profound ways they could. Harry Styles took to Instagram where he shared a photo of him and Liam and remembered Liam as someone who lived wide open with his heart on his sleeve. "The years we spent together will forever remain among the most cherished of my life. I will miss him always, my lovely friend." Fellow band members Louis Tomlinson left for Liam's son. He thanked Liam for being the brother he never had. "Reminiscing on all of the thousands of amazing memories we had together is a luxury I thought I'd have with you for life," he wrote. "I want to tell you that if Bear ever needs me, I will be the uncle he needs in his life and tell him stories of how amazing his dad was." Niall Horan must be so shook right now because he was literally with Liam and had been spotted in Argentina attending a concert of former One Direction bandmate. It's honestly just a devastating time for all of them right now. Another person who without a doubt has been affected by this news has to be Simon Cowell. If you didn't know, Simon was the one who formed One Direction on X Factor. He also paid a heartfelt tribute to Liam Payne. In honor of Liam, Simon has paused filming for ITV's Britain's Got Talent, showing how deeply the news has impacted him. As One Direction's first manager, Cowell has always been close to the group, and his tribute reflected the emotional bond he still shares with the members. In other news, police have given more updates regarding the incident after taking a closer inspection of Liam's hotel room. Remember minutes before the balcony fall, hotel staff alerted emergency services, reporting in a 911 call that the singer had been trashing the room. A day after the tragic fall, law enforcement investigated Liam's room and found prescription drug, clonazepam, energy supplements, and other over-the-counter medications scattered throughout the space, along with various items broken, including a smashed television. They also found a whiskey bottle, lighter, and cell phone, which were later recovered from the hotel's internal courtyard, where Payne's body was discovered. Authorities collected fingerprints, a notebook, his passport, and other evidence for lab analysis. The balcony area was also inspected to determine access points, and with these, the cops have given an update on the matter, even as further probing continues. They have said that so far everything indicates that the musician was alone when the fall happened, and that there were no injuries that suggested a third party had been involved. In the meantime, they have confirmed that the state of Liam's room backed up the claims that he was heavily intoxicated and was being erratic. According to a preliminary autopsy report, Payne died from multiple injuries and internal and external hemorrhages caused by the fall. However, while many have been paying their respects to Liam, it is now being revealed that not everything was peaceful in his personal life. In fact, reports are surfacing that just 2 days before his tragic passing, one of his ex-girlfriends had taken legal action against him. As I had cautioned earlier, the relationship between Liam and his ex is not to blame for the way that things turned out in his last moments, but you just get the story and be the judge. Turns out the relationship between Liam Payne and his ex-fiancée, Maya Henry, was far from over, even after their official split in 2022. In fact, just days before his tragic passing, things had escalated to a legal battle. According to reports, Maya issued a cease and desist letter, pointing to some deeply concerning behavior from Liam. Both Maya and the sources close to the situation revealed that Liam had been contacting her non-stop, leaving Maya feeling overwhelmed and trapped. Maya said that despite their breakup, Liam would frequently blow up her phone with messages, switch phone numbers, and even blow up his own mother's phone trying to reach her. Maya, who has remained silent following Liam's passing, had spoken out before about the toll this constant contact was taking on her. It was so bad that she expressed her frustration, saying that every time she saw a new message, she'd literally know who it was from, and her guess was always right. It seemed this situation had only gotten worse with time, leading her to take legal action just 2 days before Liam's death. Adding another layer to the already complex relationship, Maya wrote a novel titled Looking Forward, released earlier this year, which painted a picture eerily similar to her real-life romance with Liam. The book, though fictional, featured a character named Oliver, a boy band member struggling with substance abuse. Sound familiar? The parallels between the character Oliver and Liam were hard to ignore, especially as Maya opened up about her personal trauma, including an abortion she had during their relationship. She admitted in interviews that while the book was fiction, many scenes were inspired by her actual experiences with Liam. Even though they had been broken up for over a year, the tension between them was undeniable. Maya had exposed some toxic patterns in Liam's behavior, claiming that he had made sexist remarks, and she feared for the environment his current girlfriend was living in. It's clear that unresolved issues and painful memories were still lingering for both of them. To make matters worse, remember Liam's current girlfriend, Katie Cassidy, left him behind in Argentina, and she couldn't stay any longer. She explained that the trip was supposed to last only 5 days, but Liam wasn't keen to leave, so 2 weeks later, she couldn't take it anymore, and that's when she decided to leave him behind. Kate did not specify why Liam had not accompanied her back home to Florida though, but evidently he had had a breakdown just a few days after being left alone, and being that he was under the influence, things turned out the way that they did.
Travel from South America back to Florida with me. I was so ready to leave. Honestly, loved South America, but I hate staying in one place for too long, and we were supposed to be there for like 5 days, turned into 2 weeks, and I was just like, I need to go home. I landed in Miami at like 6 a.m. and I was really expecting a nice sunrise, but nope, we got clouds and gray skies. I was so happy to be home. Oh my god, it was just so relieving.
This is the breakfast table.
I'm just eating an orange.
Just enjoying coffee and breakfast, even though it's like 1 p.m.
Literally, we sleep in every day until at least 12. We're such losers.
No.
No.
All right, moving on. Liam Payne's mental health struggles were no secret, and sadly they became more evident through the way his relationships crumbled over the years. His rise to fame as one of the lead singers of One Direction came with immense pressure that he never truly was equipped to handle. Fame for someone so young isn't all glitz and glam. In Liam's case, it quickly became a burden that followed him into adulthood, casting a dark shadow over his life, his relationships, and mental well-being. At just 14, Liam was thrust into the global spotlight, becoming a pop sensation overnight. But the fast-paced lifestyle, combined with the weight of public scrutiny, slowly took its toll on his mental health. In interviews, Liam himself admitted that he struggles with loneliness, and the demands of fame pushed him to the edge several times. It's no surprise that these issues spilled over into his personal life, making it difficult for him to maintain stable relationships. He often found himself at the center of turmoil with his partners, with reports of his troubled relationships becoming as frequent as news about his music. One of the clearest signs of his mental strain was his inability to navigate his relationships without conflict. Now, don't get me wrong, every relationship has its fair share of conflict, but Liam's relationships were a bit too volatile. His engagement to Maya Henry might have been more scandalous, marked by infidelity accusations and legal disputes, but this wasn't an isolated case. His relationship with Cheryl Cole, with whom he shares a son, was also another example of how his mental health struggles bled into his personal life. Reports surfaced that Cheryl had taken on most of the parenting duties as Liam reportedly battled substance abuse and spent time in rehab, detached from his role as a father. Liam's erratic behavior in the days leading up to his tragic death only underscores how much he was suffering. Apparently, those out of control, aggressive, erratic behaviors that compelled hotel staff to call 911 were literally the order of the day in Liam's life. It's almost like all the signs were there, yet the industry and the people around him seemingly couldn't pull him out of that darkness. People who have experienced such immense highs and lows from a young age have have expressed how scary it is, and evidently, Liam's mental health struggles seem to have been compounded by years of internal conflict, unhealthy coping mechanisms, and the feeling that his life had spiraled out of control. Allegedly, with one of the areas of his life that drove him to these lows was his career. His career, while immensely successful at one point, only seemed to add to the pressure. After the split of One Direction, Liam found himself in a tough spot, watching as his former bandmates, particularly Harry Styles and Zayn Malik, achieved skyrocketing success. This comparison, combined with the weight of public expectations, seemed to push Liam further into a mental tailspin. He once spoke about feeling like a commodity, being used by those around him, and never truly knowing who he could trust. It was this constant battle with fame and his sense of low self-worth that fueled his self-destructive tendencies. In his own words, he admitted that at several points, he didn't want to be here anymore. It's heartbreaking to think that despite the wealth, fame, and outward success, Liam struggled with feeling disconnected with those around him. He was a man who had the world at his feet, but couldn't shake the deep sadness that followed him throughout his career. Fame had magnified his struggles, turning every mistake into a headline, and every relationship into public gossip. The constant attention and scrutiny seemed to chip away at his mental health, making it increasingly difficult for him to cope with the demands of being in the public eye. Even though people who had the privilege of meeting Liam say he had moments of seeming normalcy, the darker side of fame was never far behind. His relationships were just one area where his mental health struggles played out for the world to see. It's clear that Liam was dealing with much more than just career pressures, and he was battling internal demons that no amount of fame or success could alleviate. And while his tragic end was shocking, the signs had been there all along, leading to a tragic, heartbreaking conclusion. Anyways, a lot of this is yet to be revealed, but what we know for sure is that Liam took offense when he was denied access to the pool area. That's when he started throwing things around the room and a distress call was made. But things took a drastic turn before the cops arrived, and just like that, instead of returning home with fond memories of his time in Argentina, Liam Payne's body will be returning to his parents in a coffin. Speaking of Liam's parents, my goodness, there's possibly nothing more dreadful than having to bury your own child. The pain they must be feeling right now is unimaginable. Just hours after receiving the devastating news, Liam's parents were seen hurriedly leaving their home around midnight, likely in a rush to get to Argentina. According to a neighbor, they looked distraught as any parent would in such a tragic moment. You can't imagine what they're going through, one local resident shared. Liam had always been close to his family and would visit whenever he could. It's heartbreaking to think of them having to face such a sudden loss, especially with how tight-knit they were. As we wrap up this heartbreaking story, it's clear that Liam Payne's struggles went far deeper than we could have ever imagined. His life was filled with incredible highs and devastating lows, and sadly, his battles with mental health seemed to follow him until the very end. We'll continue to keep you updated as more details come to light, but for now, let's just take a moment to remember Liam as the talented soul that he was. Thank you so much, loves, for watching and supporting the channel. Stay tuned for more updates and take care of yourselves and each other.